October 26th, 1793. Imagine early morning. The damp Parisian air is heavy with moisture and anticipation. The Place de la Révolution, a vast, muddy expanse in the heart of the city, teeming with a roaring crowd. You stand there, among hundreds of eyes, all gazing eagerly at the wooden platform rising above the human mass. Hear the grinding of wheels? It's a carriage. A woman emerges. Her once proud posture is broken, yet her gaze remains piercing. She ascends the scaffold steps. The smell of damp wood, cries, whispers. The blade gleamed in the dim light. A crash, a fall, a moment. A barely perceptible sigh rippled through the crowd, like a gentle breeze. That was it. Queen Marie Antoinette executed. The end of an era. The end of a life. A moment forever etched in history. And now you're probably thinking, yes, that's all in the past. Stories, textbook pages, old paintings. It's no longer happening. Right? But what if I told you that this very moment, all that horror, all that drama, every wrinkle on the Queen's face, every drop of dew on the scaffold, is right now, this very second, unfolding somewhere far, far away in the bottomless expanses of space. Not in memories, not in your imagination, but for real, physically. Nonsense, you say. The past is over. It no longer exists. Well, at least, that's what we've always thought. We're used to thinking of time as a river that flows in only one direction, carrying away everything that was before. We are now, and what happened a second ago is already washed away by the current, gone forever. Well, prepare yourself, because that's not how it is. Listen closely. Your past isn't a dusty archive in your mind or an album of yellowed photographs. It's real. It physically exists. And it's traveling. Yes, yes, I see your skeptical look. What kind of rubbish is that? Where's my pizza from last night? Is that flying somewhere too? You scoff. And I tell you, the pizza and your laughter when you ate it, and even that awkward moment when a piece of cheese fell on your shirt, all of it is currently speeding through interstellar space like a tiny yet utterly real cosmic broadcast. Imagine, yesterday morning you spilled coffee on your shirt. Funny? Maybe a little embarrassing? Now imagine that very moment. Your astonished face, the spreading puddle, your hurried attempts to wipe it up, your muttered curses. It didn't happen. It is. Your laughter, your words, your silliest dance at a house party when no one was looking, your thoughtful grimace at the window, your emotions as you read these lines, all of it is packed into light and speeding away from Earth, expanding like an invisible bubble in all directions, at a speed we can't even truly comprehend. It's like a giant, endless television broadcast. Every breath you take, every glance, every moment of your life, it's a frame that embarks on a cosmic journey. Your past hasn't vanished, it's moving, it's flying. And somewhere out there, in the infinite darkness, perhaps someone is channel surfing and stumbles upon your very own reality show. Only, it's from your yesterday, or from the moment you first went to school, or from the day you were born. Because, you see, your past isn't history. It's a cosmic broadcast, and it's flying right now. Imagine Paris, the year 1676. Late evening, an observatory. An astronomer named Oleruma sits there. He's observing Jupiter and its moon, Io. Io regularly disappears behind the gas giant, then reappears. Like clockwork, right? But Ruma notices something strange. When Earth and Jupiter are at their furthest points from each other, Io lags. Its eclipses happen later than they should. Physicists of the time, and ordinary people too, were probably like, "What the devil? Has Jupiter broken down? Or has Io rebelled against its schedule?" But Römer doesn't just scratch his head. He looks at it and thinks, what if light isn't instantaneous? What if it needs time to travel the distance from Jupiter to Earth? It was then, on that Parisian night, that humanity first realized light isn't magic that appears out of nowhere and everywhere at once. No, light is a courier. It carries information. It's a messenger that embarks on a journey at a seemingly mind-boggling speed, 300,000 kilometers per second. But even this astonishing speed is finite. And that means every photon that reflected off your morning coffee cup, off your smile, off your most ridiculous dance in front of the mirror, it flew away. It continues to fly out there into the boundless expanses of the universe, and it carries with it a precise, perfect snapshot of you and your action at that microscopic moment. Imagine that you're a kind of cosmic radio station, constantly broadcasting your life series. Every movement, every glance, it's another frame that was filmed and sent out on air. And this broadcast never stops. Your life isn't just events that happened and remained in the past. It's literally a stream of information transmitted in every possible direction. Physicists might say, "Elementary, my dear Watson. These are the basics of relativity theory." And I say, "Listen, but this is mind-blowing. This means that your pajamas from yesterday, that awkward moment when you stumbled on the stairs, all of it is currently speeding past some distant star." Think of it like a letter. You sent it today. It didn't disappear. It didn't dissolve into thin air. It's physically moving along its route. And light is the same kind of postman. Only it doesn't just deliver a letter to one mailbox. It infinitely duplicates it and delivers it to all corners of the galaxy. And each photon, like a separate copy of your letter, flies on its own path. Forget about time machines from sci-fi movies. The most powerful, and let's be honest, actually existing time travel device is light. And you know what's most amazing and a little bit unsettling? This cosmic scale courier makes you immortal in the most literal sense. Your echo, your images, will never vanish. They will fly for billions of years, potentially reaching the most distant civilizations. Your life is a reality show that's being watched right now, albeit with a very, very significant delay. Imagine Florence, a cold night in the distant year 1609. Above the roofs of the ancient city hangs a black, velvety sky sprinkled with diamonds. In a small observatory, hunched over his marvel, a tube assembled from lenses and wood, sits Galileo Galilei. His hands tremble slightly with excitement. His breath escapes in a cloud of vapor. He watches. He watches where no one before him had looked with such clarity. He points his primitive but ingenious telescope at Jupiter and sees not just a dot, but a disk surrounded by 4 tiny glowing specks. These aren't stars, they're moons. They orbit Jupiter, like our moon around Earth. Astounding. And now the most important thing. You know what Galileo didn't realize then? He wasn't just looking at Jupiter, here and now. He was looking into the past. He saw Jupiter as it was approximately 40 minutes ago. Yes, light from that planet takes almost 40 minutes to reach Earth. 40 minutes from the past, just to photograph it on the retina of his eye? Even then, with the first telescope, humanity inadvertently observed its main cosmic rule. Light is a courier that is always late. Always. So what, you might say? What difference does it make to me that light from Jupiter takes 40 minutes to arrive? I live in the present. And this is where a man steps onto the stage who completely overturned our understanding of time. So much so that we're still scratching our heads trying to grasp it. Albert Einstein. He didn't just say, light travels. He declared, the speed of light is the absolute maximum, an immutable constant, a universal speed limit for all information. Imagine that it's like traffic laws, but for the entire universe, faster than 300,000 kilometers per second. Impossible. Full stop. And this isn't a recommendation, it's a fundamental law of existence. What does that mean? It means that your pajamas from yesterday, in which you drank your morning coffee, aren't just lying in the laundry basket. No. The light waves reflected from its funny pattern, carrying information about every crease and every stain from yesterday's breakfast, are currently speeding away from Earth, flying into infinity. The speed of light is a kind of cosmic hard drive. Every moment of your life is recorded and transmitted in all directions, like a signal from an old radio station. Einstein showed that this process isn't just a curious feature, but an integral part of the very fabric of space and time. Light isn't just a way to see something. It's the very fabric on which your existence is recorded. And your pajamas from childhood? Yes, they're there too, flying towards the Andromeda Nebula at a speed we can't even imagine. They fly like a small personal beacon, broadcasting your past image into the depths of space. This isn't a metaphor, it's physics. Your past isn't a memory in your head. It's a colossal, ever-expanding sphere of light, filled with your former selves. And this sphere flies, 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 every second, without stopping, forever. Imagine Tycho Brahe, the great Danish astronomer, stands under the cold November sky of 1572. An icy wind stirs his fur collar, but it's not the cold that makes his heart beat faster, but a shining point in the constellation Cassiopeia, a new, never-before-seen star. He sees it now, at this very moment, but in reality, he's looking into the past, the deep past, because the light from that star took 7,500 years to travel to his eye. 7,500 years. When the light from that star began its journey, mammoths still roamed the earth, and humans were just beginning to master agriculture. Do you understand? Every time we look at a distant star, we don't see it as it is right now, but as it was thousands or even millions of years ago. It's like receiving an old letter. You read it now, but it tells you about something that happened long ago, when it was written. The farther the sender, the older the letter. And now, the most interesting part. You know what's strangest? This same principle applies to us, to each one of us. So what, you might say? A second here, a second there. What's the difference? The difference is in scale, my friend. On a cosmic scale. Imagine, your neighbor looks at you and sees you now, with a delay of perhaps 1 nanosecond, because light needs time to travel to their eyes. But someone a million light years away, if they had a powerful enough telescope, would right now be observing you having breakfast a month ago. And someone sitting a billion light years from Earth could be channel surfing right now and seeing your distant great-great-grandfather doing something 100 years ago. Yes, it's true. Every smile, every movement, every glance, all of it. Light waves that spread out from you, traveling through the universe. They don't disappear. They don't fade away without a trace. They fly and fly and fly, carrying your image, your past. It's like throwing a stone into a pond. Ripples spread out in all directions. Your life is an endless series of such stones thrown into the cosmic pond, and each ripple carries information about the moment of the throw. Your echo, a light echo, your past. It's not just stored in memory or in old photographs. It lives, it moves, it travels through the abysses of space. It is. And someone who is at the right distance, at the right time, can observe it right now. Your pajamas from yesterday, your clumsy dance from childhood, the moment you sneezed 3 weeks ago. All of it is flying, flying, flying. And when you look at the stars, remember, you're not just seeing their past. You understand that your past is also being seen right now by someone out there, far, far away through a cosmic telescope. Fascinating, isn't it? Or terrifying? Let's start with a picture. Imagine August 24th, 79 AD. A bright morning over the Bay of Naples, breakfast, children playing in the streets of Pompeii, and then a roar. The earth trembles, and the sky splits open, spewing fiery lava and tons of ash from Vesuvius. Horror, panic, the city buried under a layer of volcanic matter. A tragedy, right? We look at it through the eyes of historians, through archaeological finds, the figures of the unfortunate inhabitants frozen in eternity. It's a story that, it seems, ended long ago. But you know what's most amazing? For someone, that day is still happening. Right now, millions of kilometers from us, on some planet XYZ, well, let's call it that, a hypothetical alien is sitting there. Maybe they have 8 eyes, and they're drinking something like our green tea, but from a gravity mug. They're channel surfing their cosmic television. And what do they see? Not a blockbuster about galactic wars, not a science documentary about black holes. They stumble upon a channel called Earthlings Live From. And this is where it gets really interesting. If this alien lives 1,000 light years from us, what do they see? That's right, they see Earth as it was 1,000 years ago. They observe knights in armor, the construction of the first cathedrals, the flourishing of medieval cities. They are a true cosmic paparazzi, filming your Earthlings series live, but with a gigantic delay. They watch princes holding feasts in Kievan Rus. They watch gunpowder being invented in China. They watch the first universities opening their doors in Europe. All these events, not just history, not just records in dusty tomes. These are real, living frames, transmitted by light directly into their 8-eyed viewports. Imagine this scene. This alien hums in surprise. These Earthlings have invented the wheel again. Or, wow, what an outfit. Is it fashion to wear fur hats there? For them, all of this is happening now. Only now for them is our 1,000 years ago. And if they live only 100 light years away, then they see you, reading these lines. Well, 100 years ago, your great-grandparents, their first cars, radio, the first airplane flights. Your great-grandmother, in a fashionable outfit of the time, perhaps strolling through a park. And if they're only 1 light year away, they see you having breakfast a year ago. That very omelette you weren't too fond of. That news story that made you angry. That ridiculous dance you did, thinking no one was watching. Physicists might say, "Nonsense, you're exaggerating." And I say, "But it is." This isn't a joke or a fantasy. It's an undeniable fact. Every photon that left your room a second ago continues its journey. Every light wave reflected from your face yesterday hasn't disappeared. It carries information about you, about your facial expression, about the color of your shirt, about how you yawned. It's flying. And if there's someone out there with a powerful enough cosmic telescope, they will see it. Your home, your city, your country. It's an endless television broadcast, transmitted in all directions of the universe. You're not just living your life, you're filming your own continuous series, watched by, perhaps, billions of eyes across unimaginable distances. It's a little unsettling, isn't it? The realization that you are the main character in the universe's most massive reality show. And your most awkward moments, funniest falls, most contemplative gazes, all of it is already flying somewhere, ready to be captured and viewed. Each of us is a TV star, but the premiere of your today for distant viewers will only be millions of years from now. Remember that the next time you think no one is watching, somewhere far away, your past is already in prime time. October 18th, 1888, Leeds, England. Imagine a small garden, the sun lazily breaking through the autumn leaves. Louis Le Prince, a brilliant inventor, prepares for something incredible. His camera, quite unlike modern ones, is about to do something that will change the world. Capture the first moving images in history. Silent, short, just a few seconds. But it was a breakthrough. A man and woman walk, laugh. And this moment, this tiny piece of life, is forever sealed on film. Now listen. This tiny film is just a microscopic analogy of what happens to you every second. Your life isn't just captured. It's broadcast, in all directions, without interruption. It's not just a few frames, like an old film reel from the last century. It's an endless, silent, cosmic series about your life. Every movement, every glance, every heartbeat. It's a new frame that immediately speeds away into space on light waves. Imagine a pond. You throw a pebble. A ripple spreads. Well, every moment of your life is like a pebble. But the pond is the universe, and the waves spread not just across the surface, but in all three dimensions. And not just from one pebble, but from billions and billions, thrown every second. The waves of your life, your past, is flying. Hold on, a skeptic might say, scratching their head. It's just light. Well, it flew away, so what? No one's recording it on the universe's hard drive. And this is where it gets interesting. Light isn't just nothing, it carries information. Every photon emitted by you, or reflected off you, holds the tiniest details of your appearance, your movement at that specific moment. Your file isn't a single disk. It's trillions, no quintillions, of these tiny information packets scattering at the speed of light. How much of you is floating in space? Infinitely much. Every second of your life exists in countless copies, moving away from us at the speed of light. It's as if every second you live, someone takes billions of photos and sends them to all corners of the universe. All right, let's assume the information exists. But how do you extract your file from it? It's like trying to reassemble every word you've ever spoken after they've dissolved into the air. Or catching every drop of rain that fell yesterday. Theoretically, every water molecule, every sound, its energy, information, it doesn't disappear. But to put it back together, to reconstruct it? With today's technology, that's a task on par with building a starship out of toothpicks. Light weakens, scatters, mixes with billions of other signals. To retrieve the file, we'd need an antenna the size of a galaxy and computational power that would make the most powerful supercomputer look like a calculator from the last century. Imagine trying to catch all the balloons that fell from a skyscraper while standing on another continent. And besides, why would we need all these cosmic, incriminating evidences? To watch you search for your keys a week ago? Or to delve into the most intimate moments of history? Or perhaps for something much greater that we can't yet imagine. Imagine it as a vast, immeasurable library, an archive, where every book is a second of your life, and they are all scattering across endless shelves. Your life is the longest, most detailed series in the universe, and no one can cancel it. It just keeps going, forever, expanding, and you are its main star. Do you know how people first began to measure time? Not just observe the sun moving across the sky, but precisely with seconds and minutes. In 1602, in Pisa, Italy, young Galileo Galilei, according to legend, sat in a cathedral watching a swinging chandelier. He noticed an astonishing thing. No matter how wide the chandelier swung, each complete swing took roughly the same amount of time. He used his pulse as an internal stopwatch, having no actual clock at hand. This simple observation, this rhythmic dance of bronze and light beneath the arches of an ancient church, was one of the first steps toward us perceiving time as something universal, measurable. Not just as a hazy river carrying us forward, but as something that could be divided into equal pieces. It was a revolution. And no one at the time could have imagined that these pieces of your life literally break off and fly into space. So we've already understood that your past isn't dust on the shelf of memory. It's waves of light carrying your old frames somewhere very far away. Like a signal from an old television that was forgotten and left on, still broadcasting. And this is where it gets really interesting. If my yesterday hasn't vanished, but continues to exist, traveling through the universe, then what exactly is now? Imagine, your breakfast from a month ago is still flying towards distant stars. Your very first date, your graduation ceremony. All of it. Not abstract memories, but physically existing light patterns that one day someone, somewhere, will be able to intercept. It turns everything upside down, doesn't it? We've always thought of time as a river. You can't step into the same river twice, can you? The past has flowed away. It's gone. It became history, legend, a memory. But what if your past isn't a river, but rather a library? A vast, endless library where every book is a moment of your life, recorded by light and sent in all directions. Wait, some skeptic might say, rubbing their forehead. These are all metaphors. We can't actually go back and watch. And I say, perhaps not yet. But the very existence of these light books calls into question our fundamental understanding of time. You know, for a theoretical physicist, time isn't quite what it is for you. For you, it's an arrow constantly ticking, carrying you forward. For a physicist, it's more like a dimension. Another dimension, just like length, width, and height. We just happen to move along it in one direction. Imagine a three-dimensional film. We see each frame in sequence, experiencing them. But the film itself, with all its frames, already exists entirely, right? It's on a shelf or recorded on a disc. That's how it is with the universe. Our reality might be something like a colossal film that has already been shot. And we are simply watching it, frame by frame. And our past? Those are the frames we've already watched, which are simply flying away from Earth's projector. These aren't just intellectual games. This is a fundamental question. If everything that happened continues to exist in the form of these light signals, then what does our now mean? Is it simply the point at which we see a particular frame? And if our past exists, does it exist objectively? Meaning, can it be measured, touched, Well, with great effort and the right tools, of course. It's like sending a paper letter by mail. Once you drop it in the box, it exists independently of you. You can no longer cancel it or intercept it. It's traveling along its route. Your past is billions of such letters, sent to all corners of space. Does this mean there is no randomness? That everything is already predetermined, like in this gigantic, already filmed movie? A frightening thought? Perhaps. Or on the contrary, thrilling. Because if past isn't a noun denoting something gone, but a verb denoting continuing to spread, then it changes everything. Your life isn't just a line on a graph disappearing into oblivion. It's a spiral that unwinds, imprinting itself in light at every point in space. It's an eternal message, your personal cosmic echo. On December 12, 1901, on windswept Signal Hill in Newfoundland, Guglielmo Marconi and his assistants listened intently to a primitive receiver. Through the crackle of static, they picked up 3 faint but distinct dots, Morse code for the letter S. It was the first transatlantic radio signal, transmitted from Cornwall, England. Invisible waves crossed 2,200 miles of ocean, and humanity for the first time eavesdropped on a distant conversation, an invisible echo, transforming from a dream into reality. Imagine, listener, that this eavesdropped signal is just a tiny, tiny fraction of what could potentially be intercepted. What if, instead of short radio waves carrying 3 dots, we learned to capture those very light packets in which your past is recorded? What if we could tap into this cosmic cable television? Listen, it's fantastic. Imagine, you miss your grandmother. Her smile, the way she baked your favorite pies. But what if you could catch the light that reflected off her face billions of years ago, when she was sitting in the kitchen? Pause it. Rewind. See her again, not in memories, but as a living light echo. Or even crazier, delve into the mysteries of history. See Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon, how the pyramids were built. Not through guesswork, not through texts, but through direct, undistorted broadcasts from the past. Can you imagine? A whole library of time. And what about yourself? Oh, those dreamers, skeptics would scoff. Impossible. But then, transatlantic radio signals once seemed impossible too. Too much data, too far, too faint, physicists would exclaim, rolling their eyes. And they would, of course, be right. Right now, it seems like an incredible technical challenge. It's like trying to catch a Wi-Fi signal from another planet that was broadcast 100,000 years ago. But what if? Imagine. Would you want to see your first day of school? Or that awkward moment when you stumbled and fell right in front of your crush? To see your mistakes, your triumphs, your secrets, not through the prism of memory, but as it really happened, because light doesn't lie. An appealing prospect, isn't it? The chance to correct mistakes, to study the past, or an eternal nightmare? Because it means that from now on, none of your actions will ever truly be forgotten. Nothing will disappear. Would you dare to connect to such a TV channel? Would we have any secrets left? And at what cost would such boundless universal memory come? It would be a bridge to tomorrow. But what abysses would we have to cross? And what kind of future would it reveal to us? For now, these are just fantasies. But who knows what the next Guglielmo Marconis of the universe will discover? October 4th, 1957. The Kazakh steppe, Baikonur. A cold wind sweeps across the launch pad, but inside the bunker, there's feverish tension. The countdown. Launch! A column of fire roared into the sky, carrying a metal sphere the size of a football upwards. and 96 minutes later, the world heard it. The famous beep, beep, beep signals from Earth's first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1. That sound, that radio signal, was humanity's first conscious cosmic imprint. The first man-made echo we sent into the silent darkness, declaring, "We are here." And this is where it gets really interesting. Listen. Because that beep, beep, beep didn't just fly into the sky and dissolve, it continued its journey. At the speed of light. Right now, this very second, somewhere trillions of kilometers from Earth, that very signal is still flying, carrying news of our first step into space. Imagine, thousands of light years away, it might only now be heard on some distant planet. And now, the most important thing. Sputnik is just an example. Every action you take, every word, every blink of your eyelashes, it's not just a local event on Earth. It's a wave, a light wave, a sound wave, even a heat wave. It's like a stone dropped into still water. Ripples spread out from it, right? They expand, growing fainter, but never entirely disappear. Or, like when you open a bottle of perfume in a room, the scent spreads everywhere, and then, even if you remove the bottle, its molecules will still linger in the air for a while, reaching every corner. You are that bottle. Your life is the scent. A skeptic might say, well, it's just reflected light. What do I care if my smile is flying off somewhere? That's not me. But it is. When you smile, the light reflected from your face, from your eyes, from everything that makes you in that moment, carries information. Information about your facial expressions, your mood, your unique form. It's your personal light imprint, which, like Sputnik's radio signal, scatters in all directions. Your life is an endless, three-dimensional movie, broadcast in real time to all corners of the universe. Every walk you take, every handshake, every hug, every tear. All of these are tiny but utterly real particles of information speeding away from Earth. They fly and fly, traversing millions, billions of kilometers. They will never vanish. Your echo will resonate in infinity. It reached stars we can't even see with the naked eye long ago. And it will continue its journey for billions of years. You don't just live on Earth. You leave an eternal, luminous trace, your own unique cosmic imprint on the fabric of eternity itself. And that, is both frightening and incredibly inspiring. December 12th, 1972. The astronauts of Apollo 17 looked back at Earth as they flew past it on their way to the moon. At that moment, when the light from our planet hadn't even traveled halfway to Mars, they took a photograph that went into history as the blue marble. Imagine that sight. Our Earth, our home, not an atlas map or a globe on a shelf, but a living, breathing, piercingly blue sphere, suspended in the boundless blackness of space. No borders, no countries, just clouds, oceans, and land illuminated by the sun. It was the first time humanity saw itself whole, as a single entity. And you know what's most incredible? When they looked at that blue marble, they didn't see now, but its past. Because light needed mere moments to reach their camera. Just as your yesterday, your first smile, your most awkward dance at the school prom, all of it is now speeding away. Right now, billions of years, billions of kilometers, you and I have traveled a vast distance on this imaginary spaceship. We've peered into a past that, it turns out, hasn't vanished. It's not just stored in your memory, in old photo albums or dusty archive boxes. It's there, physically. In the silent, endless ocean of the universe, spreading in waves of light in all directions. Your laughter, your tears, your loudest shout or quietest whisper, all of it is relentlessly flying, like your personal blue marbles from the endless film of your life. It's unsettling, isn't it? To know that every mistake you make, every clumsy movement, is perhaps already flying towards some distant star, broadcasting for completely unknown viewers. Like a pebble you tossed into a pond, the ripples from it spread wider and wider, never truly vanishing, just growing fainter and more transparent. Only instead of a pond, it's infinite space, and instead of a pebble, it's you. But on the other hand, isn't it amazing? Something like cosmic immortality, your personal eternity. Wait, some skeptic might say, still clinging to old earthly notions of time. It's just light. It doesn't contain me, myself. And I'll tell you, it does. It contains information about you, frames of your personal movie, your echo, your imprint. So we've reached the end of our journey, but your personal film has just begun. How does this new reality feel to you? A world where your past isn't museum dust, but a living, flying broadcast, constantly sent to the stars? This knowledge changes everything, you must agree. It makes you look at every moment in a new way. Every action becomes not just a fleeting event, but an act of creation that sends a new wave of light, a new part of you into eternity. Buckle up, because your past is already flying to the stars. And you? Are you ready to catch up with it? Ready to accept that you're not just an inhabitant of Earth, but a true cosmic wanderer, whose story forever expands throughout the universe? This isn't the end of the story. It's just its new beginning, the beginning of your own boundless cosmic journey.